So it's your turn to talk, and then I'll just go like this.
Well, hello everybody. This is the J and J Show. I'm Jay, and this is Jay. Say hi, Jay.
Hello.
Today we want to talk about a few things. We want to talk about a few incidents that happened in Florida. Um, One with the Trayvon Martin shooting and murder, and also with this Jordan Davis murder. We was talking about this a little earlier, and it's in the news. It's just some terrible, nasty things that are happening, and we looking at the mentality of the persons that have committed these heinous crimes. What do you think?
Well, I know we discussed this briefly in the green room, and I think they're both crazy.
Okay, what gives you the idea that they're crazy? What is the indication to show that there is some mental stability with these two
Well, it's just like I
individuals?
said before. I'm not trying to blame Chuck Norris or anything. Actually, I have a Chuck Norris T-shirt on today. But that's what I used to say. It's just this idea that they're going to be like some vigilante and solve all the world's problems and stuff like that by going out and confronting somebody about their stereo or being black in a white neighborhood or whatever it is. Um, or being suspicious or whatever for whatever reason. They they want to confront that.
Well, let me ask you a question. Um, with this situation, let's look at this the Dunn incident. This man Dunn went up to the vehicle that Davis was in, and apparently these young teenagers was playing their music, and they was playing it loud. And we know that teenagers do this. They play their music and they play it loud. They
I've done it.
and
I still
and
do.
you still do.
Sometimes.
Okay, and so um, do you think this guy had a right to approach them and ask them to turn their music down or demand them? Because we don't know
I
exactly
I
how it was
think
done.
I think that he does have a right, but is it the responsible thing to do? Um, it'd be like nice if we could live in a world where everybody, back in the day, everybody would, could challenge someone else's children to do things a certain way. Nowadays, I mean, things just get crazy, and it's probably not the best approach to just walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, shut that off" or something. I mean,
Well, not
maybe they're crazy.
well. Do you
I
think
mean,
there's a proper way to ask
I
somebody
don't
to
know
do
what that
something?
would be, and like I said, I think the safest thing to do is to call the police, but. Is that responsible too? I don't know. That sometimes, a lot of times, even the police will tell you, calling the cops just makes things worse. Especially if there's somebody you're gonna run into if they live closer to you. Now they were at a store, so they probably maybe never saw each other before. I don't know what would be the proper way. What would you say about that?
Well, I think if you at a convenience store and you're on public property, um, you can request somebody, and there's a way of asking if it's really bothering you. There's a way of coming to some kind of agreement to get people to respond to you. There is a way in a positive manner.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
talking about
I
a
don't.
negative
I,
response.
I'm guessing this guy didn't know that way.
He didn't know that way.
I'm sorry. I know someone
But
died in that
right,
incident,
right,
but
right. But I mean, just like if my next door neighbor was playing his music loud, he has a right to play his music at his house.
mhm.
Now, if it's loud and it's disturbing, now I do have the right to go over and just request that he turn it down. I don't necessarily have to call the police. Now, if I know that my neighbor is a jerk,
Mhm.
I'm not just gonna go out there and say, "Hey, man, turn that
Well,
music down."
I'll also say this, and now I'm not condoning what he did, but my guess is that they weren't very responsive to his request. They probably told him, just go screw yourself.
Probably,
But that doesn't
probably.
warrant him going and retrieving his firearm. Not,
Well, let's look at this. He went to his car, got into his glove box,
yeah.
pulled his gun out, and began to shoot into this vehicle full of teens.
No,
There's four teens
he,
in this vehicle.
and then they left, and he followed them after that.
They pulled off. They took off.
After
They
he shot
left
at him.
after he shot at him,
Uh-huh.
and then he chased them down the road. He got in his car, started his engine up, chased them down the road, and began to shoot.
So I think this guy was acting out of a lot of fears that were probably penning up on him for a very long time.
Do you think that there might be an undertone of racism?
Yeah, I do believe that was a part of his fear, and that he thought he was going to confront these black kids and That's my guess. You can't prove that in court or anything like that. I don't think you could, but I mean, to me, it's an obvious. If you made a movie about it, it would, you'd have to use it. I mean, it would be, I mean, it just seems obvious. I mean, like I said, anytime you deal with somebody that's of different ethnicity, you think about stuff like that. I mean, I'm at the grocery store, and if the clerk's black or Asian or something like that, it's there.
Well, do you
nothing
think
happens that there's not some sort of racial.
do you think that he may be power hungry too, wanting somebody to do what he wants them to do, and not necessarily looking out for the welfare of anybody
I
else?
don't know if he was power hungry. I think he probably felt powerless, and that's what part of his fear was.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know. He might have been hungry for power, but it might have been. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Now, just your assessment of this individual. Now, the jury was out for 30 hours, and they deliberated on this. What do you think of the verdict?
Now, see, I don't understand the difference between first degree and second degree murder as much as I think I probably was when I was younger.
Well, second degree, just so you know, second degree is less, and then he didn't just get charged with murder. He got second charged with discharging his.
I think if they were going to do that, they should actually charge him with stalking, which in a way doesn't that fall more in line with first degree because he followed them in their car.
Well, now stalking, that's a whole different charge. That's a whole
stalking with
charge.
the intent to, cause malicious bodily harm or.
Well, now if they if they charged him with second degree murder, normally that is not second degree. If they charged him with something that was really less, would be assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder. But he committed murder. He actually murdered someone. He actually took a life.
Well, the thing of it is like I don't see him really. Like, he didn't know this person. Didn't say like, this guy's dating my girlfriend. I got a problem with him. I'm gonna kill him. It was just like kind of like an incident and no excuse. But it's kind of like they got into a passioned argument, and he basically went crazy and grabbed his gun. But he did go to his gun, shoot at them, then get in his truck, follow them, and shoot them. So I mean, this guy's got like, some serious issues, to say the least. But
so you're saying that there's a mental problem as well?
Yeah. But as far as that goes, if you're saying, if my interpretation is that they're saying second degree because this is what I get from it, I'm not sure. He didn't really know him. They got into it at a store, and then he decided that he was going to shoot them. For what reason I don't know.
Here in this state, here in the state of Michigan,
because he didn't like the way they were talking to him or whatever.
Well, here in the state of Michigan, I've known of cases where similar situations, but it was black on black, and the person that did the shooting was charged with first degree murder.
Really? And they didn't even know each other?
Didn't know each other.
Oh, then I'd say definitely he should have got first degree murder.
Yeah.
And he chased him down in a car.
Yeah, he chased him down.
From the place so it's like if you felt threatened at any point, what point were you so threatened that you had to chase them down? Now, if it was a case that they actually knew each other and this person was concerned about, okay, these people are going to come back later and kill my family, I understand you chase them in the car, but you're talking about, I mean, you're shooting at them basically because they haven't turned their music down. I imagine they probably didn't take the time to turn the knob down before they drove off when he was shooting at them.
Right.
So the music's still up. So, I mean, was that in his mind at all? No. Had nothing to do with the stereo. You're right. It was a power thing. I think it was that he felt kind of powerless.
You think he felt kind of powerless?
Yeah, I think so. He's got issues that he's got to deal with that he may never fully confront. But I think that that doesn't negate from the fact that, like you said, now there was another incident where there was two people and they got charged. They didn't know each other. They were charged with first degree murder.
First degree murder. Didn't know each other.
And what was that?
Nah, they never chased him down. He just shot him and just right there shot him in first degree murder.
And that's crazy because I mean he actually chased them in their vehicle. They were trying to get away.
Now we got to understand that this is in the state of Florida and they have this the stand your ground law. And in the state of Florida you can apparently with the stand your ground law you can kill somebody and get away with it.
Does his ground include the entire roadway?
Well, that's a good question. So apparently, Florida is saying that anyone that feels threatened uh, can stand their ground anywhere in the neighborhood. It doesn't matter if they're at home or at the convenience store. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to really judge this. We posting this here on YouTube, Facebook, wherever we need to post it. I want you to really think about it. It's similar with the Zimmerman case, where Zimmerman felt that Trayvon Martin was trying to hurt him, and he felt threatened for his life. But yes, still we see that this man followed him, and not only did he follow him, but he was in his car. He called the police, and the police even told Zimmerman to leave the young man alone. What do you think about that case?
I think, I think it's pretty clear that when the 911 operator told him that we have this under control. I was in a similar situation where I called the police, and they told me, this person was, cut me off on the road. Man, he was driving really erratically. I called the police, and they told me to just back off and slow down and just relax, and they would take care of it. So that's what I did. I think you kind of like, the 911 operator isn't in charge, but they're letting you know that law enforcement's going to handle it. I think you kind of like crushed your cookies there. I think anything that happens now, I think he was kind of responsible for, because he was negligent and just letting the authorities handle it.
So now he also said on the stand,
the Chuck Norris mentality.
Said he wants to be the one in charge. He wants to be the hero, huh?
Superman.
Yeah. So he said it on the stand that Trayvon Martin tried to reach for his gun. Now my question is, how did Trayvon Martin know or knew that he had a gun?
And you said that was in his back.
Yeah, it was in his back.
This
is what he said, right in the back of his pants.
Okay.
And how did Trayvon Martin know that he had a gun, or on a holster in the back? How did he know he had a gun? And then and then how is it that the young man is shot in his chest if Trayvon Martin is on top of you?
Right. I think you got shot, you'd be shot.
Yeah, closer to you. Yeah,
that way.
Yeah, but it was directly
either in the.
He was shot in the chest.
Would probably come through some organs.
So we looking at these cases, and how can the jury not find
either of these men is guilty of first-degree murder when it is plain and simple? I mean, it's cut and dry. That Zimmerman was told to stay in his car, leave the man alone, leave the teenager alone. And then there was a phone call from Martin to a friend, and Martin was telling a friend, "There's a man following me."
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question is, who was afraid for their life?
I don't know during that case. I do know that one thing, though, as far as the gun instance, if you have a gun in your back pocket like that, at the point that you realize another person would realize it was there, it would probably be in their possession immediately. You wouldn't just be reaching for it. If we're getting into a scuffle, maybe you rubbed his hand against it, got knocked back. I can see that. And then it's like, how do you know he's reaching for your gun? I don't really, because if you're facing him and your gun's in the back, how's it? Sorry,
No.
but I don't know how that doesn't make much sense to me.
Right, and Zimmerman mentioned that Trayvon Martin was on top of him, possibly, but you talking about a 30-something-year-old man and a teenager,
Yeah.
who got the best of who, and you creeping up on this kid. You mean you don't? This is my point of view. You got somebody following me. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to protect me.
Yeah.
But the state of Florida says you can stand your ground, do whatever you want to do. Well, I say to the state of Florida,
if he's following him, he's not standing his ground.
that's not you exactly right. That's not standing your ground.
If somebody's following you, you're standing your ground.
Right. Now, in the 70s, my father was shot. My father was shot twice.
Wow.
Actually, 3 times. He was hit once in the pelvis and twice in the kneecap.
Where was he at?
And he was at home.
Oh.
He was at home. Okay. Now they let my father go because of the fact they said self-defense. But here in the state of Michigan, there is no self-defense law. But they will allow for it because my father was at home. And the man that shot him
One
shot
thing I
him.
got shot when I was growing up was a pop can.
Well, my father was shot, but not only my father, but my uncle was shot. Actually, two uncles were shot by the same man, and the individual died in the process because as he was shooting my father shot once, hit the man in the heart, and the man died. Um,
Wow.
so
And he was in the house.
yeah, he was in the house because this is the thing: how he got in the house. He didn't break in; he was let
He
in.
was invited.
He was invited in because he was a friend of the family.
Why did he decide to shoot your dad?
Well, he didn't decide to shoot my dad. He decided to shoot whoever. It didn't matter
Well,
because he was upset. He apparently he had a mental break. He was upset. He felt I don't know how he felt. I'm just saying I know that he was upset for the fact that when my grandfather died, his family actually helped my family take my grandfather down south and bury him down south. And he even mentioned that he was upset that he didn't get to ride in the family car to go down south with the family.
It sounded like he had some mental problems.
Apparently so, that nobody knew about. Or if they did know about it, they just didn't pay attention to it. See, a lot of mental
stuff doesn't
things
really surface until one day.
exactly until they have a psychotic break. They just have all this stuff bottled up in their head. They feel used, mistreated.
That sounds more like